So today we're going to be taking a look at the Jujutsu Kaisen fan book. This has like deep cut information on the characters as well as some interview question and answers from the series creator himself. I'm obviously not going to be going through the entire thing. I'm just going to be looking at a few select characters here, mainly the ones that interest me the most. And these translations are provided to us by Okkotsu on Twitter. So coming to the Sukuna page, it says for his techniques redacted. And this is interesting, of course, because Sukuna never truly reveals what his curse technique is, at least not to Gojo. And we also see that he's capable of using like some kind of fire manipulation or some kind of fire bow and arrow or something. And that goes into a theory about how Sukuna is able to obtain multiple curse techniques, similar to how Okkotsu can, but he gains them in a different fashion. And I'll go more into that when we go deeper into the Sukuna information here. So now we're going into Gege's question and answers regarding Sukuna. So he was asked, Sukuna was said to be a real human being, but was he a jujutsu sorcerer when he was alive? And Akutami said he was indeed a jujutsu sorcerer, but I honestly think he was something more like a natural disaster. Does he retain any memories of his time as a human? Definitely, though I'm not sure if Sukuna himself or the people around him even recognize him as a human. So that's super interesting because I talk about this in my Sukuna Explained video. Like on one of the cover pages for the chapters, we get a glimpse as to what Sukuna looked like back in the day. And as previously said by Gojo, he has like 4 arms and he has like 4 eyes, or he has like 2 faces. He has like a mask or something. It's hard to make out exactly what's going on with him, but he certainly doesn't look like a normal human. He looks more like a curse. And that's just further being established here by what Gege is saying. How was he regarded by those around him during this time as a human? He terrified people out of their minds. He's regarded as the king of curses before and even after becoming a cursed object. Where does Sukuna find the most pleasure? In eating. So either that's just minor insight into Sukuna, or that could be insight into why Sukuna is the way that he is. I'm not going to go too much into speculation and theory, but it could be giving us some insight into why he has multiple techniques, or why his appearance is the way that it is. What does his finger taste like? Well, it's grave wax, so something like soap, right? Did Sukuna ever have a wife or children during his life? None. I imagine he just had Urarame as his minion. So that's something to take into account whenever we're trying to figure out like what's going on with Sukuna and Yuji, or just anything that's going on with Sukuna to present day, which means I guess he doesn't have any, we'll say, direct descendants. So now let's go to Gojo's pages because there's a lot of interesting stuff here as well. He usually wears a blindfold, but can he still actually see? The 6 eyes are, roughly speaking, eyes that can see cursed energy in extremely insane detail. Even when he's blindfolded, everything still looks like high-resolution thermal graphics. He can even see things that have no cursed energy, like buildings, through residual cursed energy and the flow of cursed energy from entities around it. On the other hand, if he doesn't wear a blindfold, he can tire easily. Even if his mind is always at its peak from his curse reversal technique, if a normal person tried wearing Gojo's sunglasses, they wouldn't see anything since they are completely pitch black. So that's it. That's, I guess, as good of an explanation as we're going to get as to why Gojo wears the blindfold and the glasses and everything, and what is exactly going on when he has the blindfold and the glasses on. And it's kind of implied throughout the story that this is the case, but it's just nice to get just a full-blown, straight up explanation from the creator himself. And there's just one more thing I want to touch on Gojo before we go any further, and he seems to be aware that he's super handsome, but doesn't he want a lover? I can't imagine Gojo being faithful to any particular woman. So there you go, in case you were interested in that. So now let's go to Toji's page because I'm sure we're all super interested in deep cut information on him. How is he blood related to Naobito, Maki, and Mai? Toji is Naobito's elder brother's son. Maki and Mai are Naobito's younger brother's daughters. Toji, Maki, and Mai don't know each other. So there you go, that clears that up in case you were curious about the Zenin family tree. Would he be considered the equivalent of a special grade jujutsu sorcerer. The Jujutsu Society has no intention of issuing a classification for the physically gifted heavenly restriction. So I'm glad that this is being brought up, because a lot of us, probably thought about this when we were reading the Hidden Inventory arc, because it's never brought up or mentioned or anything. And I like how Gege gives like a non-answer here, which is definitely true, at least from the Jujutsu Society side of things, but it's like, what is his own opinion? And I will say, like, I think it's fair to say that Toji would be considered a special grade. I mean, I guess you can't say that he's a Jujutsu sorcerer, but just a special grade entity in general, I think is fair, right? How did he manage to establish a master-servant relationship with a cursed spirit that could store weapons? He just trained it, like with a cat or dog. He was able to become its master, but it's not a relationship of trust like with a pet. Now here's the million-dollar question. If he hadn't offed himself during the Shibuya incident, would he have come back to life the way he was at that moment? If he hadn't offed himself, he might have stayed that way, but he was in this glitched state. So I honestly have no idea what would have happened. I don't think Toji holds much interest in the world in the first place. Personally, I think that Toji is nothing more than an entity overwritten with Toji's information, so it wasn't an actual resurrection. And this is actually what I speculate about in my Toji Explained video. A big part of me wanted Toji to stick around, but at the same time, if he did, it wouldn't really be Toji. It would be this glitch in the system. So the last thing I want to look at is some of the information on Okkotsu's page. It was established that cursed spirits can't be born from Jujutsu sorcerers. So why was Okkotsu able to transform Rika into a vengeful spirit? When I said that cursed spirits aren't born from Jujutsu sorcerers, I was referring to the fact that there is practically no excess discharge of cursed energy from sorcerers. So cursed energy can't accumulate somewhere and cause the creation of a cursed spirit, since their cursed energy can never accumulate in the first place. Jujutsu sorcerers themselves are capable of turning into cursed spirits. So in Rika's case, Okkotsu unintentionally latched onto Rika's soul with his own cursed energy. It's fundamentally impossible to deliberately keep souls of the deceased from passing on, but they caused a binding to occur, like a glitch in the system. Because Okkotsu was entirely unconscious about doing it, he truly wants her to pass on peacefully, and Rika's strong desire to be with Okkotsu. So this is clearing up any confusion that may have come out of volume 0. And like I said with Gojo's eye stuff, it's certainly implied within the story that this is happening, but it's nice to have a full-blown explanation from the creator here. Was Tokyo Jujutsu High's overwhelming victory at the Goodwill Exchange event with Kyoto due to him releasing Rika, or was Okkotsu using his own ability? He didn't let her out as much as she just came out on her own. The cleanup afterwards was a mess. So that's super interesting. I don't think we've ever had insight into exactly what happened in the previous Goodwill event. So I guess Okkotsu and Rika just mopped the floor with everyone. And that's why Todo was so eager to get his rematch with them. Did Okkotsu remain a special grade Jujutsu sorcerer even after Rika's curse was dispelled? He became a normal grade 4 sorcerer once. That's why his uniform was black at the end of volume 0. White uniforms are for problem children, so they can be spotted easily at a distance. And then he was reinstated to special grade soon after. Super interesting. I don't think this was ever revealed within the story. But this is also Gege subtly saying that, like, yeah, Rika comes back soon after, because obviously she's a part of the story currently, or at least the new form or new version of her, which still hasn't been fully explained yet, but it's just pretty interesting given what's being said here. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Let me know what you think about this stuff. I mean, there's tons more in this book that could be, talked about. I only wanted to go over so much in this video, but if you liked it, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.